November 22, 1996, Tampa, Florida. Marco Antonio Barrera, the 122-pound world champion, faced challenger Junior Jones. The previously unbeaten Barrera was in for a rude awakening.
That right hand that Junior Jones landed.
Another one.
Good left hand stopped Barrera in his track.
Blood trickling into Barrera's left eye. New urgency for the unbeaten Mexican. Down he goes. Hard right hand by Junior.
The referee is giving him an awful long time to survive.
More time than he deserved.
Why did he get so much time to survive?
More time than he deserved. But it's going to be over. The bell ends the round. Barrera is knocked down. The referee stopped the fight. Junior Jones has picked up a monumental upset over Marco Antonio Barrera and revived his star status. Tonight, it's redemption or repeat. Also, you'll see Ike Quartey. The glory in the 147-pound division may belong right now to Oscar De La Hoya, but watch out for Quartey. He'll try to show you tonight why he could be the top welterweight in the world. Quartey begins to open up. Philip holds on. He's going to go down right here in a second. The rematch and respect tonight. Tonight, live from Las Vegas, Nevada, just days after Oscar De La Hoya's controversial decision over Pernell Whitaker. The grittier side of boxing. Welterweight champion Ike Quartey takes on Ralph Tiger Jones. Then the rematch you may well have been waiting for, Junior Jones against Marco Antonio Barrera. 12 rounds of boxing, two confident warriors in each case. We're at the Las Vegas Hilton, which itself is making a comeback of sorts into the boxing world. Tonight, Marco Antonio Barrera seeks to avenge his devastating loss of last November. In that fight, challenger Junior Jones surprised the boxing world, including Barrera, by mixing it up inside more than expected and winning a battle of traded punches. Will it be another slugfest or a more tactical fight this time? We will soon find out. And hello again, everybody. I'm Jim Lampley. We welcome you to this special edition of HBO's World Championship Boxing, on which Ike Quartey will state his case as the best welterweight in the world. Yes, even better than Oscar De La Hoya. And then Marco Antonio Barrera and Junior Jones will fight a heavily anticipated rematch because their first fight was such an exciting and stunning upset for Jones. Working with me, as always, HBO boxing analyst Larry Merchant. And Larry, before we get started with tonight's festivities, a brief comment from you on last Saturday night's pay-per-view telecast of Whitaker and De La Hoya.
Thank you, Jim. This is the first time that we've been on the air since that fight, and so I wanted to say that I made some remarks before the fight that some people were offended by. That clearly was not my intention, but if those people were offended, I do apologize sincerely to them.
All right, Larry, back in a moment to revisit the welterweight division with you, but first we go to the 122-pound weight class. This man, Roy Jones Jr., was about to win a world light heavyweight championship from Mike McCallum on the same card last November, where your buddy Junior Jones knocked off Marco Antonio Barrera. That fight preceded yours. How aware were you of what was going on that night, and what's your instinct as to whether it can happen again?
Well, Jim, I was very aware of everything that was going on. For one, me and Junior do communicate more than me and most of the other boxing world besides Ike Quartey and a few other guys. However, I was always an inspiration to Junior, I think, and I know that Junior had all the tools that it took to really beat a guy like Marco Antonio Barrero. I did tell Junior that Barrero was one of the best phenoms that I've seen in years. He was a guy who was coming on to be one of the greatest in this sport of boxing, especially in the lighter weight classes. But he was too easy to hit with the right hand by Kennedy McKinney, and as you well know, Junior Jones may have one of the best right hands in the business outside of myself and a few others.
Roy, I know you'll still contend that you're the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world in a moment.
Truly.
Ike Quartey is going to file his latest application, and he'll be wildly motivated in the wake of the relatively inconclusive result of Whitaker De La Hoya, right?
Right. The Whitaker De La Hoya fight was supposed to determine the new pound-for-pound.
Yep.
However, I feel as though I still retain my title in that fight. Quartey, in my opinion, may be the best welterweight out right now. He's strong, he's mentally tough, he can punch, he can take a punch. He has all the tools necessary to contend hardly for that pound-for-pound belt. In my opinion, I think right now, toughness, he gets the vote over Oscar De La Hoya, and for the youth, he gets the vote over Pernell Whitaker, and the power. So right now, I think Ike Quartey does get my vote for the welterweight division of pound-for-pound, the best fighter.
All right, let's turn to the business implications for Quartey as we get ready to watch him against an opponent, Ralph Tiger Jones. De La Hoya, Larry, we know, is getting ready to fight David Kamau in June, possibly Hector Macho Camacho in September, possibly a mandatory title defense against a Frenchman named Carpentier in December or January. Whitaker will continue to troll for either of the two big money rematches, perhaps against Chavez or against De La Hoya. What is up and what's going on for Ike Quartey?
Well, first, at this very minute as we speak, he's got bonfires burning for him and drums beating for him and a giant television screen right in the heart of his hometown of Accra in Ghana of West Africa, with tens of thousands of people awaiting the start of this fight. What he's also got going for him, as Roy indicated, is the sincere attention of the rest of the boxing world, which does view him at least on a par with the other named welterweights, De La Hoya and Trinidad. And none of the other named welterweights want to hear their name in the same sentence with him, much less be in the same ring with him. He will be in the ring with a fighter named Ralph Tiger Jones tonight. And the only thing I can guarantee you about all of the Joneses here tonight is that Roy is the only one sure to go the distance.
Yep, he'll be with us till the very end. Right now, we take a look at the tail of the tape for Ike Quartey and Ralph Tiger Jones. And you can see that they're both 27 years old. Jones actually with a 1-inch height advantage. Look at the difference in their weights tonight getting into the ring. Quartey has gained 14.5 pounds since weighing in yesterday. He says because he allowed himself to eat the good African food that he's been avoiding in training for the fight. 4-inch reach advantage for Tiger Jones, but it'll be interesting to see if he can hold off the aggressive left jab of Ike Quartey. Punch stat numbers, Larry.
Take a look and see how active these fighters are, but they're similar, but the numbers don't mean a whole lot because of the different class of competition that they have faced. Quartey's jab numbers, however, are important because he has a thunderous jab. It's the equivalent of a lot of other people's power punches.
Rules of the bout with our ringside scorer, Harold Letterman.
The Ike Quartey Ralph Tiger Jones fight is scheduled for 12 rounds. There is no standing 8 count, but the 3 knockdown rule is in effect. Only the referee can stop the fight, and you can be saved by the bell in the 12th and final round only. Jim.
All right, Harold, and now let's get ready to take our first look at Ralph Tiger Jones from McKeesport, Pennsylvania. 31 professional fights so far. Only 1 loss, 22 KOs, but as you can see, mostly against nondescript opposition. This is his very first championship fight. The man behind him, Pat Burns out of Miami, Florida, who was the Olympic coach last year in 1996, has been training Tiger only for about 4 weeks. He took over from Richie Giacchetti when Tiger decided he wasn't getting enough attention from Giacchetti, who was spending most of his working time apparently with his new heavyweight, a fellow named Tyson. out of the high school football town of McKeesport, PA. Did a little wrestling in high school. And there's the record, as we showed you. His trainer, Pat Burns, says he's a slow starter. They hope he can survive the first 4 rounds against Quartey.
Which doesn't sound to me like an optimistic way to go into the fight.
And you see referee Joe Cortez examining Jones and his equipment as he enters the ring. And next up will be the Ghanaian world champion Ike Quartey, who has trained for the past several weeks in Roy Jones's gym in Pensacola, Florida. Roy, what kind of a guy is he?
Ike Quartey is one of the nicest guys you ever want to meet. He's very soft-spoken, never has much to say, doesn't have much flash about himself, but he means business. And when he comes to the ring, he brings a business-minded attitude. That's why I love to be around him. He's a strong person. He's a strong-minded guy, and I think he's going to be the best welterweight to come for the next 5 or 6 years.
Roy, tell me, why has he added 15 pounds since yesterday afternoon's weigh-in? This sounds like he had either been totally dehydrated or overtrained. It's a big number.
Ike Quartey trains very hard. He's a very good dietitian. He keeps a very strenuous diet. He does his weight loss all by dieting and all by dehydration. Dehydration speeds up the ions in the body, and after he weighs in, he goes and puts the fluids back in his body. To me, Roberto Duran did it for all that time. It gave him a big size advantage over most of his opponents, and I think you should use every advantage that you have in this dirty, cruel sport of boxing.
Quartey says that he trained more than 300 sparring rounds for tonight's fight. That's an extraordinary number of rounds of sparring, but you've heard Roy Jones says he is all business when he gets into the gym.
He even beat up on a few of my sparring partners.
Sorry about that, Roy. Let's go up to Michael Buffer for the official introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the Las Vegas Hilton, where tonight main events in association with your undisputed, undefeated king of beers, Budweiser. This Bud's for you. Present 12 rounds of boxing for the WBA Welterweight Championship of the World. This bout is sanctioned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission and by the World Boxing Association. WBA President Gilberto Mendoza, supervisor at ringside is Murray Sleep. The 3 judges scoring this bout on a 10-point must system are Bill Graham, Hank Myers, and Julio Roldan. And when the bell rings, your referee in charge of the action, working for the 91st time in a world title bout, is Joe Cortez.
Supposed to be here.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black, trimmed with red, and weighing 147 pounds. His professional record, 30 victories, 22 by knockout with only 1 loss. From Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, here is the challenger, Ralph Tiger Jones.
Take that roll.
And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing red, gold, and green, and weighing 146.5 pounds. His professional record, a perfect 33 consecutive victories without a loss, 28 by knockout. Represented by AB Stars of Paris, France, he comes to us from Accra, Ghana, Africa, presenting the undefeated WBA Welterweight Champion of the World, Ike Bazooka Quartey.
All right, gentlemen, we went over the rules in the dressing room. I want a good, clean fight. Protect yourselves at all time. Keep those punches up. Give me good sportsmanlike conduct. Is that understood? Shake hands. Good luck to both.
Ralph Tiger Jones is the namesake of a very, very well-known fighter, a middleweight, back in the 50s who appeared very often on the Friday night fights of that era and pulled off a famous upset of Sugar Ray Robinson in one of Robinson's comebacks. All we can hope for is just a little bit of that Tiger Jones, because if this Tiger Jones isn't that good, he will be outclassed.
And across the ring, you get your first look at Tiger Jones in the black trunks. You notice Muscular, well-developed upper body, very thin legs. That could be trouble against Quartey's punching power. And you might have heard trainer Pat Burns a little bit earlier in the ring saying to his fighter, you belong here. You deserve to be here. Obviously attempting to convince Jones not to be overwhelmed by the occasion.
There's the excellent jab by Quartey early in the fight. I think Tiger Jones will get a lot of this. And Tiger seems a little tense so far in the fight.
Yeah, the job for him is to get through those punches to the body where he likes to work.
Tiger Jones sort of pawing with the jab, trying to find something that he can launch in the face of Quartey's early assault, which has been mostly left jabs and a couple of straight right hands.
Tiger's not a powerful guy, so I don't know why he's rushing in here to meet the power from Quartey. This doesn't seem like a good tactic to me.
Well, his fight plan, Roy, is to try to stay inside of Quartey's power. According to what trainer Pat Burns wants him to do, he's going to have to convince himself to step up and stay in Quartey's chest, and that's not an easy thing to do.
You don't want to be in Quartey's chest. That's where Quartey's strongest punches are, right there in his chest. Quartey is a very strong guy. He's very powerful. He outweighs his opponent by 11 pounds right now. Why would you go try to stand toe-to-toe or get in his chest, as they would say?
You think you got a recipe for an early knockout?
That's what it looks like to me.
Well, you got to dance with what brung you, and if this is the style that got him to this point, I don't know that he's capable of changing it.
I don't know. I've seen Florida change their strategy against Florida State from the first time to the second time.
Jones's legs wobbly as Quartey chases him across the ring. Minute and a half still to go in the round. Tiger Jones unable to throw much and seemingly on wobbly legs as Quartey presses the attack behind the jab and the straight right hand like that.
This fight shouldn't last too much longer. Ike is a very good finisher. And Tiger is in deep trouble.
The one thing he isn't doing is going to the body, though, Roy. This is a place where he should be going to the body.
There it is.
Soften him up. Right there was the first good shot to the body. Well, I don't know if he can get, his trainer said he's got to get through 4 of these rounds. I don't know that anybody could.
No, I don't think many people could get through 4 of these rounds.
Well, certainly not standing there in the corner and taking it. He's going to have to try to get his legs back under him.
That was another body shot, Larry.
Yeah, good straight.
Oh, there he goes.
First knockdown of the fight. Tiger Jones just taking way too much punishment for his legs to stay under him.
6, 7.
And you'll see if Quartey can finish in the next 30 seconds and get credit for the first round knockout that he would dearly love to have in the wake of Whitaker De La Hoya.
Good body shot that drove Jones back at that point.
Now I think you see why those guys don't want to talk about fighting Quartey.
Nobody's going out of their way to fight him.
Well,
10 seconds to go in the round.
I'm not sure that those other guys couldn't do just as well against this fighter.
I'm sure they could.
Second knockdown.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
I'm pretty sure those other guys don't really want none of this guy.
Time.
And I'll go out and see it.
Tiger Jones makes it out of the first round and walks on wobbly legs back to his corner. Quartey got credit for 2 knockdowns.
Tell me you're right. You sure, Tiger?
Tiger,
listen, Tiger.
Okay, let me.
Tiger, one more shot like this. If I don't see any defense from you at all, and you don't start throwing punches, I'm stopping this fight. Do you understand? You've got 30 seconds in there. I don't care if he drops you or not. I'm going to stop this fight. Do you understand?
The graphic should say Quartey on top and Jones on the bottom, and you saw that Quartey threw 132 punches in the round.
I'm not going to let you take unnecessary punches.
A withering assault.
Okay, remember that.
But of course, there wasn't much coming back at him, but that's still a lot of punches.
Tiger Jones has 4 children. He's never made more than $5,000 for a boxing match. He's getting $100,000 tonight. Let's hope he takes good care of it.
Seconds out. Seconds out.
Take a look at the second knockdown of the round. It was just a push because Jones was in so much trouble.
One thing you see here, Larry, is when I tell you about the size differential. When a guy knows how to correctly lose the weight, come in 10 and 12, sometimes 15 pounds heavier than he showed up at the scale, and he does it the right way, it can show to be a big advantage. And this is basically what has happened tonight.
That's why I don't like weigh-ins the day before the fight, because some fighters can use that to advantage. if the weigh-in had been around noon today, he couldn't have done that.
Well, if he's as good as his word, Pat Burns, the manager or the trainer, should be stepping out of the corner to stop this pretty soon.
The referee's going to stop it soon. Tiger hasn't thrown one punch this round.
Now there he throws a right hand after he stuck a jab, and he tries a couple more. He's not getting anything out of it. I guess Pat Burns, the trainer, has seen enough to let it go for a little while longer. Target practice in rounds 1 and 2 for Quartey of Ghana. Too easy. Just too easy.
They're trying to... They're yelling from Tiger Jones' corner that Quartey is tired, but I don't see it yet.
There was a hard right hand shot by Quartey. Jones wobbling again. Minute and a half to go in the second round. You wonder how much more Joe Cortez wants to see.
Well, it's about 1:20 in the morning in Accra, in Ghana. And people won't be staying up too late there tonight.
Well, now here's some brave stuff from Tiger Jones, who has found an opportunity to start getting his own punches off and is doing the best he can.
And if he lands some body shots, he may have a chance that he can wear Ike down just a little bit.
Jones managing to defend himself just enough to stay upright in round 2. It's going to be another 100-plus punch round for Quartey. But Pat Burns insisted to us that if Jones could just survive the first 4 rounds, he would come on strong in the latter stages of the fight. It's going to take a hell of an act of will to do that.
And he may have that will inside of him somewhere. And it looks like we will soon find out.
Quartey slowing down perceptibly as round 2 comes to a close, and Tiger's still in there.
Good round. Breathe, relax. Now listen, you're not out.
Breathe through your mouth.
Listen to me. You're not out of the woodwork yet. Do you understand? You're still wobbly. You're fighting on balls and heart right now. Okay? Do you understand? But he's getting tired. You've got to keep that defense. You cannot give him any punching room. Stay as close to, listen to me. Stay as close as you can to him. Do not let him keep you out here. You backed him up late in that round. I know you're tired, but you got a heart like a racehorse. You got to back him up. Now what he's vulnerable for is late.
Good right hand over the top of the jab by Ike Quartey.
He is a very strong puncher, it seems to me, Roy, but not what I would call a power puncher.
Well, he's pretty powerful because of the speed that's on his punches. The only thing here is it seems as though he's not really mentally into this fight like he would be if he were fighting somebody that was supposed to be really a threat to him. You always can tell by the sparkle in the guy's eyes, the way that they come to the ring, the way that they bounce around when they're in the pre-fight warm-up. When he fought Vince Phillips, for example, he was much more crisper in the pre-fight bounce around than he was tonight.
Well, how could he not be super motivated tonight? I mean, this is his showcase on national television at home in Ghana, 1 week after Whitaker De La Hoya, his chance to make his statement that he is, as so many people claim he is, the best welterweight in the world. How could he not be motivated tonight?
Well, when you fight a guy like Tiger Jones, who's not supposed to be of that caliber of a Whitaker and a De La Hoya, he feels as though no matter how good he looks against Tiger, they're going to say, well, that's not Whitaker or that's not De La Hoya. So, I mean, he's motivated enough to do his job, I think, but he's just not as crisp and as sharp as he would be if he were fighting one of the big boys. I know for a fact because I'm looking at him and I can tell he's a lot more flat on his feet than he normally is. And it's not because he wants to knock Tiger out or he's trying to hit harder. It's just that this is what he's choosing to do.
Does he always have that little smile on his lips, even in the gym?
Always.
It's like he knows something. He knows how strong he is.
That's right.
He knows how good he is.
And he knows he has a lot down inside when it comes down to it.
When you're a nice guy, as Quartey is it impossible not to have a little sympathy for the opponent when it's target practice the way it was in the first 2 rounds?
No, it's not impossible. He probably could have a little bit of sympathy.
Good right-hand shot by Jones, his best punch of the fight.
Jones is really trying hard to win this fight. Don't make no mistake about it.
Well, you heard Pat Burns say you're fighting on balls and heart, and he's got no shortage of both commodities.
Right, he's doing a very good job on heart and balls right now. Ike's fighting very smart. He's fighting conservative. He's not wasting too many punches. Everything he's throwing is short right in front of him because this is where Tiger Jones is. He's throwing not too many wild punches. He's throwing them right down the pipe where Tiger is. The only thing is, like Larry said earlier, he should go to the body a little bit more. And
if Jones wants Quartey to punch himself out in the early stages of the fight, well, the good news is, by CompuBox statistics, Quartey threw 245 punches in the first 2 rounds. That's a lot of work.
And he's still throwing a lot of them right now as we speak.
Gonna have another 100-plus punch round. But Jones is no longer on wobbly legs.
No, he's throwing some pretty good punches.
Quartey still with that little grin on his face as he fires back at Tiger Jones with left and right combinations. And a look at Marco Antonio Barrera in his dressing room as he prepares to try to avenge the only loss of his career against the man who knocked him out last November, Brooklyn's Junior Jones. Incidentally, when we go to Ike Quartey's corner, where they speak the Ga language of Quartey's tribe, our interpreter is Fred Asifo.
Stick to the body punches, okay? And then double the jabs. Start from the midsection all the way up. Take your time. He seems to want to go the full length of the fight, okay? So just stick to the body punches. Take your time. Take your time.
His ass is tired.
His ass ought to be tired. His ass is averaging 113 punches per round through the first 3 rounds. Anybody's ass would be tired.
Well, right now, Jones is thinking, they told me all I got to do is get through 4 rounds and then I can start to fight. He's just got 1 more of these to get through. Can he make it?
I think he'll make it because Ike is content with just hitting him at will, hitting him more than he's hitting Ike, and fighting a good tactical fight here.
Well, you saw Jones celebrating ecstatically at the end of round 3 and even taunting Quartey that he had made it that far. Quartey, of course, smiled at him.
I told you, Quartey is a very soft-spoken guy. Doesn't get into the jive talking and stuff like that. He means business. He comes to do business. And Tiger does mean upset, and he's here to upset Bazooka tonight if he can.
You think they know jive in Accra?
Quartey standing his ground against a man who wants to lean in against his chest. Quartey firing short punches and generally landing about 2 or 3 blows to every blow landed by Tiger Jones. But Tiger Jones's game plan still at this moment is simply to survive and try to get to the later rounds. And if that precipitous weight gain, 14 pounds in the last 27 hours, is going to hurt Quartey at all, it would hurt him in the later rounds.
Yes, it would, but that was a good right hand by Tiger Jones. He's not throwing many punches, but he's trying to make everything that he throws count.
Pat Burns said when Jones came to him 4 weeks ago, basically all he had going for him was that he had done some road work. He made Jones spar 3 times a day to get ready for this bout.
I guess that's why this must seem like a walk in the park for him. Some park.
Well, of course, sparring is one thing. Going in against an Ike Quartey is yet another, but you can see Jones's confidence building as he starts to use some head movement to try to get away from Quartey's constant assault. And he's backing Quartey up now. Something he couldn't conceivably have done in round one.
No, because Ike was much too strong and much too big for him.
I'll tell you, about 10 minutes ago, I would have been sure by now we would have been up on our feet talking about the upcoming fight between Jones and Barrera.
Double right hand by Quartey. Another combination from Quartey backs Tiger Jones up. And Jones grins as he takes more brutal punishment to end round four.
Check him out.
And there's Junior Jones. Brooklyn product, one-time rising superstar in the sport. Had his career progress halted in 1994 when he lost 2 out of 3 fights. Suddenly, to John Michael Johnson and Darryl Pinckney. Revived his star status with last fall's win over Barrera and can solidify it again with a victory in the rematch tonight.
Dr. Flip Pomansky
you're not breaking him down
has been in Jones' corner studying him very carefully.
Waiting for that last 10 seconds. Do you understand? You want to knock this guy out, right? That's what you've been saying. You got to chop that tree down, son. You're doing good getting inside, but you're not throwing any punches once you get there. Listen, if you work the body, I promise you it's going to open up that overhand right. But you got to work hard to the body, bring the uppercut. 2 shots, it'll open up the head. Now, listen.
Another interesting thing you have to look at with Tiger Jones here is that he's out to prove a point tonight. He's out to also prove to his former trainer that just because you start spending your time with Mike Tyson doesn't mean that you lost or that you're gaining a better fighter. He wants to show his former trainer that he is just as good of an opponent, a champion as any other guy.
Indeed, his manager acknowledged that they would be sending a paycheck to Rich Giacchetti, but they don't feel all that good about it. Harold, how do you have it scored through 4?
Jim, an easy fight to score. 4 rounds to nothing. 40-34, Ike Quartey. He gets 2 extra points for the 2 knockdowns in round 1. Jim, I got to talk about 3 important things. Number 1, the second knockdown in the first round occurred after the 10-second warning. So in other words, Ralph Tiger Jones was on the floor after 3 minutes had transpired. In Nevada, they don't ring the bell at 3 minutes. They ring the bell when the fighter gets up. You follow? Second point, Ike Quartey doesn't step with the punch, and I think Roy can comment on that. He throws the jab, he doesn't step with it. Third thing, the weight of Ike Quartey, Larry commented on it, it was rampant at the weigh-in that he was 150 all week.
More left-right combinations by Quartey. Jones in more trouble than ever before.
And
Joe Cortez is going to stop it.
And he won't come back from that.
That's it, my man. That's it right there.
Those last 2 left-right combinations were as perfect can be.
Let me show you how you tell a good fighter. He knew what Tiger was doing. He let Tiger last his 4 rounds to see that 4 rounds wasn't going to help. He waited till the 4 rounds was over. He came out this 5th round and immediately started on Tiger's body. That's how you wear a fighter down and take him out.
Well, that was a textbook case of finishing his man by Ike Quartey in the 5th round. And all credit to Tiger Jones for the brave effort. But in reality, he didn't have the goods to match up against a fighter like Ike Quartey.
No way, and plus he was too small.
So Quartey makes his statement 6 days after Whitaker De La Hoya, the big fight in the welterweight division. And here's Joe Cortez as he humanely called a halt to it. There's the first left-right combination. There's the second. And all 4 of those punches landed.
Beautiful punches by Ike. That was a little uppercut. That really hurt Tiger Jones.
Now, what about Harold Letterman's mild criticism that Quartey doesn't step in behind his punch?
Well, he's never been a guy to commit much to his jab. He inches close to the guy with his feet first. Then, when he's in range, he fires the jab. Therefore, he will not shoot the jab when he's out of range. So there's no need for him to step when he does shoot the jab.
You like it?
Yeah, I like it. If it works, I love it.
Let's get the official particulars on Quartey's KO victory from Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Joe Cortez has to step in and call a halt to the bout. The official time, 1 minute, 8 seconds of round number 5. The winner by TKO victory and still the undefeated WBA welterweight champion of the world, Ike Bazooka Quartey.
When they interview you, say you
judges had it at 40-34, just the same as Harold Letterman. Fred Asifo getting into position now to translate the interview as Larry Merchant gets ready to go with Ike Quartey. Small crowd here tonight in the ballroom at the Las Vegas Hilton. Another boxing telecast taking place in town tomorrow night. Larry Merchant ready with Ike Quartey right now. Larry?
All right, thank you, Jim. Congratulations. Ike, was he a little bit tougher to chop down than you thought he would be?
Okay, men if it tough with you alone. He wasn't tough at all. I knew what he was going to do, so I was ready for him.
All right, let's talk about your future, Ike. Whom would you like to fight among the top welterweights next, and why?
Waterweight division.
What do you mean that Delaware anytime?
I want to fight De La Hoya anytime.
The last time we spoke to you, you said you wanted to fight De La Hoya and Whitaker on the same night. So now it's just De La Hoya. Do you think that the top welterweights, including Felix Trinidad, will give you an opportunity to find out who the best welterweight in the world is?
Last night we were De La Hoya Whitaker the same night. She be De La Hoya I feel like Trinidad but on our
well, I don't know get it away. I know the way I check which one because I get like the best what I would deal with it. And that was silence.
All I want to do is fight De La Hoya because they're calling his name all over the place, and I just want to silence him. That's all.
What will you do until that time? How often will you fight? Will you until somebody is almost forced to give you the opportunity to show how good you are?
Me no ba fake cash be opportunity no De La Hoya no.
Well, okay, well, no, probably got the US. Probably got a demand fighter.
Okay, we're going to keep fighting in the US so the public gets to know about us, and then the public is going to demand the fight.
Thank you very much, Ike Quartey, and I think the public will get to know him a little better as time goes on. Jim?
Well, here was another step tonight, and let's take a quick look back at what happened in the fight. It was a showcase for Quartey's power shots. There was the first knockdown in round number 1. There was the second knockdown in round number 1. Hard to differentiate between the power in the left hand and the right hand. He throws punches well from both sides. His punches are short and economical. His footwork is economical. He keeps a solid power base. He landed 3/4 of his power shots in the fight. What a shock. He wants to fight De La Hoya.
What a shock. He wants to fight Oscar. Why would anyone want to fight Oscar?
Well, that's where the money is, and obviously such a bout wouldn't take place until probably next year at the earliest. How would De La Hoya stand up to the power shots of Ike Quartey?
De La Hoya would stand up to the power shots because De La Hoya is a good champion. I can take nothing from him. He is a good fighter. He's an excellent fighter. It would be more difficult for Ike Quartey to hit De La Hoya than it's been for him to hit his previous opponents. So that would make for a very good matchup. However, if the fight went into the later rounds, I know for a fact that right now, Bazooka is definitely the stronger of the two fighters.
All right. Well, maybe it'll take place. Maybe it won't. Larry Merchant, your final comments on Ike Quartey's showcase KO victory.
It was just a victory over a journeyman, a good workout for Ike Quartey. He'll keep active. He's well-liked all over the world. This guy has a future. He may be forced to fight bigger guys, may have to fight some junior middleweights, and he's obviously strong enough to move up to that class, even perhaps to some of the middleweights around. Sooner or later, he'll get his shot.
All right. Let's turn our attention to the main event because like most boxing fans, I've got a Jones to see it. I've got a Jones to talk about Roy